Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Fernando.
Hey, Janna, how are you?
Pretty good.
Good to see you. Welcome.
Yeah, good to see you too. Thanks.
Hi, Kris.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Good to see you too, Janna.
Yeah, good to see you too, Kris.
Have you met before?
I think you were on the other class, right?
Earlier this week, yeah.
Yeah.
Yay. Wonderful. Wonderful. So let's just jump right in. Shall we?
Sure.
Okay, good. So let's start with meditation. We're gonna meditate for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then before we end the meditation, we'll do the forgiveness exercise. And then we'll come out of meditation and we'll do some release work on limiting beliefs. Sounds good? Does that feel good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Wonderful. So go ahead and get comfy. Find a good position for you to meditate for about 5 to 10 minutes. Go ahead and close your eyes and we'll start with 4 deep breaths together. And when you exhale the sound of ha. So let's take the first breath together. One more. Excellent. Breathe normally through your nose. If you have a mantra or a prayer, you may begin now. And if you don't, I invite you to notice the air around your hands, around your face, and the air coming into your nose and out through your nose. And we'll be here for a few minutes. And remind yourself why you're here today. Remind yourself of your intention. And meditate on that for a few minutes. Allow any sounds you hear besides my voice, any beeps, alarms, static. Allow any sounds to help you in meditation. Sometimes in life, we seek peace, we seek silence, and sometimes we hear noise. Can we allow the noise to help us relax into a meditative state? And now we're going to start the forgiveness exercise. I'd like for you to bring the memory of the person that you like to forgive. It could be someone that you interacted with this morning, this afternoon, last night. Who would you like to forgive? And that person could also be you. Bring the memory of that person into your mind's eye and see that person. See their face, their eyes. And if you rather not see them, I'd like for you to create in your theater, in the theater of your mind, create either a feeling or a sound that represents the memory of the person. Whichever is better for you. If you're visual, bring the memory of that person so you can see that person. And if you're not visual, I'd like for you to create in the mind of your theater, in the theater of your mind, forgive me. Create the representation of the memory of that person. It could be a sound, it could be a feeling, it could be a shape. And as you have that in front of you, I'd like for you to allow a healing light coming from up above to pour on your crown chakra, on your head, and start healing you from the top of your head to the tips of your toe. And this light is healing you. And as it heals you, you allow this light to come forth through your heart chakra towards the representation of the person that you are forgiving today. And allow that energy, that healing energy, to heal that representation of that person that you're healing today, that you're forgiving today, rather. Notice that the more you allow that healing energy to fill you and go through you, through your heart chakra towards the representation of that person, notice what happens to your own body. And notice what happens to the representation, whether it's visual, a picture, a movie, whether it's a shape, a feeling, a sound. Notice that representation healing completely. Excellent. And now, I'd like for you to get a little closer to that representation. And if you're visual, I'd like for you to look at their nose and start changing their nose to your nose, their eyes to your eyes, their hair to your hair, until you have morphed completely into that representation. If you have chosen a different representation that's not visual, I'd like for you to get closer to that representation and simply walk into it. Walk into it and become it. Walk into it, whether it's a sound, a feeling, and become that representation, and allow any changes to take place. Allow the gifts of forgiveness to take place neurologically. And allow the healing of the memory to take place now. Notice that all forgiveness is self-forgiveness. You forgiving someone else, you forgiving yourself, and you forgiving yourself. You forgiving that past memory of yourself. It's a gift that you give yourself, you give to you. Excellent. We're now going to take 4 deep breaths to come out of this exercise and out of the meditation. Let's take 1 deep breath together. One more. Excellent. Continue to breathe normally and move your fingers, move your toes. And when you're ready, start opening your eyelids slowly and come back to now and back into the room. How you doing?
Sleepy.
Sleepy?
Yeah. Yeah, that one felt more relaxing than the last one. Like maybe I wasn't thinking about something as specific or just more sleepy today. Didn't have coffee.
Yeah. How about you, Kris?
I had 2 cups and I'm still sleepy.
That's
Relaxed.
good. Yeah. That's good. Sleepy is a good thing.
Thanks.
Lots of healing happens, especially when... Did any of you choose a specific person besides yourself, or did you choose yourself?
Myself.
Okay.
I at first I thought I was going to choose myself, but then I chose a different person. But I didn't have a very specific event in mind.
A very specific event?
I did not have, like, the last class I went to with you, I had a more specific, like, one-time event in mind. So I don't know if it's supposed to be more specific, but yeah, it was
Okay, cool. Good to know.
good. It was relaxing. Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
And did you do the morphing, or did you do a feeling or a shape or a sound?
I think I did the morphing, or that's what I was trying to do, but I also was like kind of drifting off into feeling so relaxed that I wasn't like always thinking about the morphing as much. Like sometimes
Okay.
at one point I kind of like realized I wasn't really like paying attention.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good
Yeah,
to know. So I know what to do next. I'll just speak louder instead of
yeah.
have a whispery voice. Okay, good to know. How about you, Kris?
Okay, what was the question again? It,
We-
a shape.
Okay.
I chose a shape. I guess uh, that like a silhouette.
A silhouette. And how did that work for you?
That worked good. I kind of had a hard time. Well, not so much a hard time morphine as changing or forgiving how that would look differently. But yeah, it worked. Thank you.
Okay, okay. That brings me to something that I haven't shared yet, which is boundaries. So I think what I'll do from now on is I'll add one or two sentences regarding boundaries during the forgiveness exercise so that it gives you the suggestion that forgiveness comes with healthy boundaries, that you can forgive someone and create healthy boundaries so that the lesson was learned and you're able to forgive. Um, so, do you think that would have helped?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I guess I was trying to visualize how the silhouette would look differently if it was forgiven.
Oh, got it, got it. So after. Okay, so
Mm,
after the forgiveness, if anything changed.
yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to come up with something.
Sure.
I was thinking too much.
No, that's good. That's good. So you were wanting to see or experience a change.
Well, I kind of I thought that's uh, something you said at one point made me think that it needed to have a different representation or how it would look differently. And
Yeah.
that was how I interpreted it.
Yeah, to
Um,
see them heal or to see
yeah,
them heal it completely healed.
yeah.
Okay.
So I was analyzing different ways that that might look.
Okay, so he's yeah, I know what I can do. I can add a couple of sentences there to help with the change. Could be a light, see the light,
I was thinking about changing it from darkness to light. That's what I was attempting to do.
change
It
from
wasn't
darkness to
working,
light.
so maybe I haven't completely forgiven yet. Maybe a little lighter each time. That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking about.
How how is the morphing supposed to help with forgiveness?
How?
Yeah.
Okay, so it will depend on the person. So for instance, with Kris, what I'm learning is that it helps. I give a few options besides the morphing because the feedback I heard last time is that it wasn't as she said she couldn't do it. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense because morphing is something that is easy for people that are visual and people that are more kinesthetic or auditory is not. So to answer your question, Janna, the morphing for people that are visual, it helps. It's supposed to help you see that that memory of that person is your projection of that person.
Okay. Like we see it from our perspective.
What's that?
Like we see things from our perspective.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if
Interesting.
you heal that perspective or the filter you have, you're healing you. You're healing your projector. You're healing your, like this. There's a camera right there, and if there's something covering the camera, it may be not as easy. You won't be able to see things as they are. So if you heal that or remove that, you can see things as they are.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
It does, and I think maybe also last time I maybe benefited from it more, and this time maybe what I needed was more of the relaxation.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
maybe you did what you needed to do.
Yeah, totally. And next time I'll just be louder during during the suggestions. Okay, good feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Cool. So let's now jump into release of the limiting beliefs. Go ahead and get a piece of paper or a notepad on your computer, Google Doc, and write a limiting belief you like to release today. And I'm doing the same. I'm doing the exercise with you.
I had a question.
Yeah.
Would not enough time be considered a limiting belief?
Okay. What's the context?
Well, multiple areas, but for example, with wanting to have, because I read your description of the event, like what's one thing that you want to have but you don't have, like wanting to have a successful business, but feeling like I don't have enough time to do what's needed. But then also that carries over to other areas of my life where I would want something but don't have it, like not enough time to take the actions or work on goals.
So ask why one more time. So you know how the formula is, you ask what in life do I want that I don't have? That's the first question. The second question is why don't I have it? And the answer to the second question likely is the limiting belief. You got the answer to the second question, not enough time. If it's not clear to you, ask why one more time. Why don't I have enough time?
Maybe that would be doubting myself, doubting my abilities, not feeling capable.
Okay. So you doubt you don't have enough time because you doubt yourself?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead and put your hand on your heart. Use your index finger and your middle finger to locate your heart. Close your eyes. Feel your heart beating. And ask yourself, why don't I have enough time? First thing that comes to mind. You want to have a business. You want to have time to build your business. Why don't you have enough time?
Should I tell you?
Yeah.
I think because I put so much pressure on myself to do everything.
Okay. And why do you put so much pressure on yourself?
I feel like I have to do everything now.
I have to do everything now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what happens if you don't?
Then I'll be stuck or I won't get where I want to go.
I'll be stuck. Okay, so regarding stuck, how's that a problem? How's being stuck a problem?
Being trapped and also not reaching my potential.
Okay, being trapped. Is that a limiting belief?
That I'm trapped,
Yeah.
possibly.
Okay. Would you like to release that today?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's greater? I am trapped or something else?
Probably I'm trapped. What
I'm
do you mean
trapped.
greater? Like a bigger concern.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the trapped thing.
Okay.
I could see how that relates to a lot of different like situations too, besides business. Yeah.
Okay. How would you phrase it? What do you say to yourself unconsciously?
If I don't figure this out fast, I'm going to be trapped in a bad situation.
Okay. And if you were to use that phraseology and in summarize that into, say, 3 words, what would you say?
I can't figure it out.
Okay, good. Would you like to release that today?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I can figure it out. All right, how about you, Kris?
It's very interesting. We have the same conversation using the same words and same language. And it's a vicious cycle for me that I've not been able to get out of. You know, I start at one place and I go all the way around to the other side. If I start with I can't make any money, then it's why don't I make money? Because I don't take action. Well, why don't I take action? Because I am afraid. Well, why am I afraid? Because I'm afraid I'll get trapped. And why would you get trapped? Because I can't figure it out. And why can't you figure it out? Because you didn't have enough resources and take enough action. And we're back to I can't make money.
Wonderful.
So I wrote down I can't figure it out too.
Best class ever. Which leads me to rapport. Rapport is something that we haven't been talking much. Actually, we have, but not using the word. The importance of rapport in relationships. But before we talk about relationships, let's talk about rapport with oneself. So both of you having the same limiting belief to release today, you are in rapport. You two are in rapport, which is amazing. Now, if we take that one step further or deeper, can you develop a better rapport with your unconscious mind? That mind that keeps your heart beating, it has kept your heart beating since even before you were born and has kept you alive until today. It's different than the conscious mind that makes life so colorful and adventurous sometimes because it messes with us sometimes. Can we create a better rapport with the unconscious mind, which has been there for us all these years? And one way you can create better rapport is when it gives you a feeling or a sound or a message that you listen to it, you respect it, you acknowledge it. That way you get to be integrated between your mind and your body. And your physical body is going to be the last thing to go. Your mind can go, your brain can be dead, and your body is still alive for a few moments. So I invite you to keep that in mind. Start asking as we go down the timeline today and release the limiting belief, that you practice asking the unconscious mind questions throughout the day, and it will give you answers. And what's that?
How do you know if it's your unconscious mind giving you the answers instead of your conscious mind?
Okay, so give me an example.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have a specific example. Let's say, for
Okay.
example, if I before this class, I maybe was wondering, should I attend this class or not?
Okay. And okay. So what's your relationship right now with the unconscious mind? Let's say from 0 to 10. Or from, if you're not a numbers person, from amazing to not so amazing.
Okay, well, when you did the exercise like the other day with the numbers, like saying all those numbers like spontaneously, like I thought I kind of had an idea of what the unconscious mind was telling me, but then I'm afraid like when I'm in regular day-to-day situations, if I make decisions fast like that, like spontaneously without thinking too much, that it's actually like coming from like a place of, I don't know, fear or like, you know, baggage instead of
It's
actually
emotional.
thinking. What is that?
It's an emotional decision. You're afraid it's going to be an emotional decision.
Yeah, like impulsive or yeah, not necessarily the unconscious mind, but like more just like,
Okay.
yeah.
So the answer is, you have the answer. I cannot give you that answer. What I can tell you is that you need to build that relationship, and you need to calibrate, and then you test. So for instance, last night at the intuition class, we worked on that for about an hour. Just like exercises on how to be okay with the answers that the unconscious mind is giving us all the time.
Mhm.
And be okay with the answers not being what the conscious mind wants them to be. So for instance, Joyce, her question yesterday for her, that she wanted to know whether she should do it or not, is should she buy a horse? And she misses having horses. She used to have 3 horses. Now she moved to a new house. They have space for the horse. And she asked the question, and the answer was wait.
Mhm.
She didn't want that answer. But because we had been meditating for a long time, which allows the conscious mind to go to sleep, it's easier to listen to the unconscious mind or to feel the unconscious mind when the commentator mind is not there. So you need to practice. The answer is you need to practice, and you need to find the answer yourself. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's practice that real quick, the unconscious mind. Let's ask those quick number questions. So shout out a number between 0 and 10.
10,
2,
10 and 100.
100,
100 and 499.
422.
499 and 1,000.
500.
509.
Good. Good. Awesome. I'm glad you find this class fun, because it's pretty fun.
Recency wins every time.
Yes, it does. I'd like for you to close your eyes and think about the limiting belief. This is something that you haven't heard before. I'm going to give you 8 questions, and I'll just like for you to ponder upon the question. No need to answer. Just ponder, just listen, just hear, just feel, think about the question. So go ahead and bring the limiting belief to your mind, and keep that in your mind as I ask you these questions. What's wrong? What caused this problem? How have you failed to resolve this? how can you overcome the solution to your problem? What would you like to change? When will you stop it from being a limitation? How many ways do you know you have solved this? I know you are changing and seeing things differently. Come back to now. When you're ready, open your eyes. Go ahead and look at the limiting belief. Janna, tell me about your limiting belief.
What do you mean, like describe it to you?
Just, yeah,
I guess
if you have it.
well, the one we talked about, that I can't figure it out.
Yeah. Do you still have it?
Do I still have the belief that I can't figure it out?
Yeah.
Well, I was having trouble answering those questions in the exercise. I don't really know if I was
Oh,
totally.
you're not supposed to answer.
Okay. I'm not supposed to answer? What do you
No.
mean?
You're just supposed to listen, hear them out, and feel them.
Oh, okay.
It's an unconscious process. So the
Okay,
conscious
cool.
mind, how many bits of information does the conscious mind process a second?
Conscious or unconscious?
The conscious.
1,000?
It's less.
Okay, less. 100.
Yeah. How about the unconscious?
1 million?
More.
10 million?
11 million.
11 million?
Yeah. So the work we're going to do is at the 11 million bits of information per second, not the 100 bits of information per second.
Okay.
Okay, good. So, is there anything else? Is there anything left to release in regards to that old belief?
I guess maybe what it comes down to is feeling like I need to put pressure on myself. Like, so maybe what that could relate back to is like feeling like I have to prove myself, like, or I have to do so much to like prove that I'm good or worth it or worthy or valuable.
I have to prove that I'm good.
Mm-hmm. I have
Okay.
to do a lot. Yeah.
Which one's greater? I have to prove that I am good or any other beliefs?
I guess maybe the other belief or the other side of that belief would be like, I'm not good enough.
Okay. Would you like to release that today?
Yeah.
Okay, good. How about you, Kris? Tell me about that old belief. If you can, if you don't have any belief, just disregard my question. Sometimes I say things that make no sense. Is there anything to release?
I'm okay for the moment, but it always seems to come back even after, like I'm okay for the moment.
Okay, you're okay for the moment. And it seems to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it seems to come back. And how do you know in the past what happened that it came back? Was there a trigger? Was there a sound, a movement, a color, a shape, a person, a song?
Generally being unsure of myself, what to do next, being afraid I'm going to screw it up.
Being afraid what?
Being afraid I'm going to screw it up or not do it right or not figure it out right or not or miss something. And it ends up costing me. Lack of certainty generally is when it comes like this.
Okay, and how's that a problem?
Well, when you're uncertain, things don't go right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
At least, okay, let me rephrase that. When I'm uncertain and I attempt to make a decision, it generally doesn't go right.
Yeah. So is there a limiting belief about being uncertain? Or is it something else?
Lack of confidence. I'm uncertain because I don't have any confidence.
Why don't you have any confidence?
Because that wasn't something I ever built out.
What's that?
Because that wasn't something I ever built out.
It's something you never built out. Okay. Why is it something you've never built out? Why have you never built it out?
I guess experiences that always
Experiences.
made me question. Even if I thought I was doing it right one time, the next time it wasn't right.
Okay. And what did you tell yourself? What did you decide from that moment on?
Well, I guess I decided I was uncertain, and even if I thought I had it right, I would end up not having it right, and it would get screwed up.
Okay. I am uncertain. I am uncertain. I think you're there. I think you're getting real close to it. I am uncertain, I believe, is you describing your state and what's keeping you from being certain.
I'm back to the lack of confidence.
Lack of confidence.
Yeah.
Are you able to have confidence?
If I know something inside and out, yes, I am very confident.
Okay. We're right there. Go ahead and close your eyes. Put your hand on your heart, two fingers, look for that heartbeat, and ask your unconscious mind, what's the underlying limiting belief keeping me from building out confidence? If anything comes to mind, go ahead and say it.
Fear.
Fear. Okay.
I always go back to that.
Okay, great. So how about what if we release fear today for you instead of a limiting belief?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I can try.
We can try. Okay, do you have a limiting belief that's stronger than fear? Go ahead and ask your unconscious mind. Or is fear greater?
Fear rules me, so.
Okay, good. So fear is the one then?
Sure.
Is a yes or no?
Yes.
Good, good, good. All right. So I'm gonna release fear for Kris, and for Janna, I'm gonna release limiting belief I'm not good enough. All right, so go ahead and close your eyes. And we're going to start the release process. Is it all right with your unconscious mind for you to release this limiting belief today and this emotion today, and for you to be aware of it consciously? Raise your hand if that's a yes. Excellent. What is the root cause of this problem? What's the root cause of this limiting belief, of this emotion? The first event, which when disconnected, will cause the emotion and the limiting belief to disappear. If you were to know, was it before, during, or after your birth? If it was before, was it in the womb or before? If it was in the womb, what month? If it was before, was it past life or passed down to you genealogically? If it was past life, how many lifetimes ago? If it was genealogical, how many generations ago? If it was after your birth, what age were you? If you have the root cause, please raise your hand. Excellent. I'd like to ask your unconscious mind to float up in the air, above your timeline, into the past, and down into the event. And as you're floating down into the event, notice what emotions are present. And for Janna, note if you are aware of the decision that was made there too. If you're still looking for the decision that was made there, the decision that I'm not good enough, I'd like for you to wind the movie of your memory until you come to the time of the decision right now. If you have the decision, please raise your hand. If you don't, wind the movie of your memory until you come to the time of the decision. Rewind and wind the movie of your memory until you come to the time of the decision that I am not good enough. And when you have it, please raise your hand. And for Kris, just notice the emotion that's present. We'll be here for just a few more moments before we continue. For Janna, are you before the first event, or is there an earlier event?
When you were asking those questions about the unconscious mind, what came up was something in the womb, like in month 2 of being in the womb, but I don't know what event could have caused that. Like I don't have an event, so I don't know if I did it right or.
Yeah, you did it perfectly. So are you right now in the event at month 2?
Oh, even if I don't know what it is, I just.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So right now we're using the mini computer, the conscious mind, to communicate on a process that the supercomputer is doing.
Okay. I don't have to know what it is. Okay. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So are you able to note that you are aware of the decision that was made there at month 2 in the womb?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Now both of you float up above your timeline and go towards the past. start floating towards the past to a position well before the beginning of the event, as well as before the beginning of the chain of events that led to that event, and turn and look toward now and preserve the positive learnings. The root cause is below you and in front of you. Now, where are the emotions and the decision? Where's the decision? If the decision has released, just hang on here for a second. If the emotion has released, just hang in here for a second. If it hasn't released completely, go ahead and float higher and farther back. Float higher and farther back, allowing the emotion and the limiting decision to completely release. What is there to have learned from this event? The learning of which will allow you to release and let go of the emotions. Won't it be better to preserve the learnings than the emotions? If you let go of the emotions and preserve the learnings, you will have learned what you needed. Keep floating higher and further back, allowing the emotion and the limiting decision to release. You are above the timeline. The root cause is below you, in front of you. You're in a safe place. You are before the event, which undoes the emotion and the decision. Completely let go of that decision. Preserve the learnings. If you preserve the learnings, you allow your unconscious mind to release the emotions. The emotions were there to remind you of the positive learnings. You now have a tool to release the emotions while preserving the learnings. As you create a new and better relationship with your unconscious mind, it will start trusting you more to give you any suppressed emotions so that you can deal with it. So whatever suppressed emotions the unconscious mind gives to you today, it's testing you. If I let you have this suppressed emotion, will you release it? So go ahead and release it. Preserve the positive learnings. If you have released it, please raise your hand. If you haven't, excellent. Go ahead and float down inside the event, looking through your own eyes, and check on the emotions. Are they there, or have they disappeared? Go ahead and tell me, are they there, or have they disappeared? If they're still there, I'd like for you to float higher and farther back, allowing the emotions to completely release. The root cause is below you and in front of you, and you're floating higher and farther back. And once you have released completely, go ahead and go back to floating down inside the event. So float down inside the event, looking through your own eyes, and check again on the emotions. Are they there, or have they disappeared? Go ahead and tell me, are they there, or have they disappeared?
I think they disappeared.
They disappeared. Okay, good. How about the decision? Did the decision disappear too?
The decision to feel or to have that limiting belief.
Yeah. The decision that I'm not good enough.
Yes.
Excellent. Just hang out here for a moment. How about you, Kris? Are the decisions there or have they disappeared? I mean the fear
Subsided.
subsided. Okay. If you were to give a number or a size to it, how was before, how it is now?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Okay. Would you like to go ahead and ask your unconscious mind if it's appropriate for you to release all of the fear today, or if what you have released today is enough?
Enough.
Enough. Excellent. Now, like for you to, both of you, to float above your timeline and come back to now. And for you, Janna, come back to now only as quickly as you allow all of the events between then and now to reevaluate themselves in light of your new choices. And let go of the negative emotions, preserve the learnings, and allow each event to reevaluate itself all the way back to now. And for you, Kris, come back to now above your timeline only as quickly as you can. Let go and release of all of the fear that your unconscious mind is allowing you to release on the events all the way back to now. And preserve the learnings on each event. And let go of the fear all the way back to now. Like a domino effect for both of you. Since we worked at the root cause, there's no need to process anything afterwards. And this process gets better and better the more you do it. As the unconscious mind starts trusting you to let you have the emotions it has been suppressing. It has been suppressing to keep you alive so you can have your day-to-day. And the more you do this type of work, the more it will trust to give you all the suppressed emotions, because now it knows you have a tool to release them. So keep floating towards now with the domino effect of releasing all of the emotion all the way back to now. And come back to now and back into the room when you're ready. Allowing all of the events to reevaluate itself in light of your new choices, letting go of the negative emotions on those events, preserving the learnings, like a domino effect, letting go of the emotions, allowing each event to reevaluate itself all the way back to now. Come back to now, to the room. That was a big one, wasn't it? All right, let's go ahead and test. So, Janna, how do you feel about that old belief?
Well, when I just thought about the belief, I just felt a little bit stressed. So maybe I'm still working on releasing some of it.
So how do you feel about that old belief besides stress?
Besides stress,
Are you enough to do things?
yeah, I feel more at peace. Like I don't have to do everything fast or do every.
Okay. I think Are you there, Kris?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. I think Jenna's internet got frozen there.
She's
How
back.
about
Yeah, sorry. I think you froze. Or I
Yeah.
froze.
Yeah, cool. So you were saying that What were you saying?
Oh, I was saying that, yeah, I don't feel as much like of a pressure to prove myself and do everything to prove that I'm good. I feel more relaxed, less pressure,
Okay.
and more capable.
Okay. I'd like for you to close your eyes and go out into the future to any time in the future where it'll be most appropriate. That if it had happened in the past, that old belief, and you were to happen again, what do you do instead? What do you do instead?
Okay. Am I supposed to have like a specific event in mind?
Any event that if you had had that old belief in the past, and if it was to happen again, now that you know what you know, what do you do?
I'm strong and I stick to my boundaries.
Okay, you're strong and stick to your boundaries. Good. Come back to now. And for you, Kris, can you remember any event in the past where you used to be able to feel that old emotion? And go back and notice if you can feel it, or you may find that you cannot.
When I was coming back up on my timeline, I was just like, okay, well, I'm not even going to think about the event. I'm just going to kick the domino that's standing over it and kick my way back. I don't know if it was because I didn't want to think about it to find out if it was still there or not, or if I was just like, okay, I'm done. You're out of the way.
Yeah. I'm picturing you kicking that domino. And I want like for you to float out into the future, Kris, and go to an unspecified time in the future, which if it had happened in the past, you would have felt inappropriate or unwarranted fear. And notice if you can find that old emotion, or you may find that you cannot. So floating into the future to an unspecified time in the future, which if it had happened in the past, you would have felt inappropriate or unwarranted fear. And notice if you can find that old emotion, or you may find that you cannot.
At the moment, I'm just going to get up and go to work tomorrow morning and lean into it. And hopefully that's what actually happens.
Yeah, totally.
We'll see how I feel tomorrow morning.
Good. Come back to now. And just like how you, in the last few days, years, decades, you have been having the habit of that old emotion, and you have released what you'd released. Same with you, Janna. You have released what you have released. It's up to you to then be okay with the new reality. Because you're playing a mind game before. The mind game was that limiting belief, or maybe it didn't happen. But if it did happen, it was a game. It was a choice you made. It was a decision. And now that we did this exercise, it's up to you for you to be okay with, wow, that was pretty simple. And can I sustain this? Meaning, it'll be up to you. This is a tool for you to create a new reality for you. And because you have your mind, you have your timeline, and we have this way of releasing things at the root cause, you can actually create, you will need to create from zero. Because if you release baggage, there's nothing there. So your actions will have to be different. You will have to create the new neurological pathways for the behavior you used to do, which you no longer have. So, but check this out. You're still in the same house, same car, same partner, same dishes, same sofa, same. You, however, not the same. You release something. So in order for this to stay and stick, you need to decide to create something new instead. When I used to feel that old emotion and trigger myself with that, I don't have that anymore. What will I do instead? So this is beyond this class, but having a goal after this class, I highly recommend set a goal for what you're going to do next. Now that I released this thing, who am I? Who am I? And because I am that, which you give it a name or a few words, I do XYZ, which is different than what you did before this session. It's different than what you did yesterday. It's a game. I call it a game because it can be a lot of fun. And then sometimes you catch yourself like, oh, have new baggage. Great. Release it. Come back to this class, or you can do it yourself. Ask your unconscious mind the first event. Float into it, get associated, float behind it, disconnect from it, check, and come back on your timeline. So this is something that, just like it took a few years or a few decades for you to be who you are as of an hour ago, you starting from zero now on the department of what you just released. So it's up to you to create something to be in the place of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just share like a really quick like feedback or testimonial? Like on the Tuesday class, like I focused on releasing fear, and I really felt like a huge shift. And this morning I went surfing, and it was the first time that I didn't feel like afraid the waves were moving too fast. Like I was actually able to stand up and not feel afraid, and I think that's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow.
I felt
Thanks
like
for
way
sharing.
less fear than usual of the ocean.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. All right. Any questions before we close out the class?
No.
No? Okay, great.
No questions. Thanks for the
Oh.
great class.
You're very welcome. If you were to tell someone who's thinking about doing this class, what would you tell them?
I would tell them it's a quick and fun way to make a shift in your emotional state, or in your emotional state.
Awesome. How about you, Kris?
I'm just trying to think of what I told my husband the other day, because I did. Like, with anything, it takes work, and the more you do it, the more benefit you get from it.
Yeah, indeed. That's true. It becomes a practice. And, I've gotten this a few times. The question is, well, if I release the greater problem, or if I release fear, will I ever feel fear again? The answer is there's two types of fear. There's warranted fear and unwarranted fear. So what we're releasing is the unwarranted fear.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is good. It's a signal. So you know what you should do or should not do. So what we're releasing is the unwarranted fear. Another question I've been getting is working 101. If any of you want to work 101, the same link that you've been using for the classes at the bottom, there is two options to work with me, either a 2-hour or a 12-month. Right now, there's no midway yet. I'm looking for a midway, but it's pretty cool because what we have been doing here, it's a good segue to getting to the game of life, which you're gonna run out of baggage. Like, you cannot be doing this forever. It gets to a point where it's like there's no more baggage. Then it becomes like, what do I do now? And the game of life is something that you get to create and design a game for your life. And if you don't like the word game, we can do some release on that word. And there's something special about creation, where you get to create whatever you want. as long as it's sustainable. As long as it's sustainable for you, it's ecological for you and for the people around you. And it's possible. It's easier if you don't have a backpack of 2 tons of baggage behind you. So once the race is done, you can get into creation. And I highly recommend you do that goal after this class, because that is part of creation already. So when you release something, put something in its place. So now that you have released something, what can you do? What is the target? What is the goal that you're going to have in place so that you can fulfill this new identity? And it's good to have the vision board. And this is extra homework if you like the challenge. Set a system. It's good to set goals, but it's more important to set a system and spend 90% of your goal setting actually setting the system. The system means because I am, say, whole, perfect, complete, or because I released XYZ limiting belief, then this is what I do. This is who I am. And because I am, say, whole, perfect, complete, this is what the first hour of my day looks like. So between 6 a.m. 7 a.m., this is what I do. Between 7 and 8, this is what I do. And you using your calendar to create your ideal life, to create the game of life the way you want. Starts with the identity, starts with the goal, and you quickly move into system setting. And system setting is your time blocking. And you can time block for nothing. For instance, between 3 and 5 p.m., I'm going to do nothing. Or it's going to be surprise time. I want to be surprised, nothing planned. So that's what I have for you. I know it's a lot, but I think you're pretty smart and you can take the challenge. Any questions before we play the music?
I had
you guys
one.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, no, I don't have a question. I'm going to mute myself because there's no.
You mentioned Game of Life, and I noticed on the calendar that after tomorrow night's there's a inner conflict resolution demonstration, and it in parentheses it said Game of Life. Is that?
Oh yeah, so it was it was supposed to be in all classes Game of Life, because what is sponsoring this complimentary classes is my Game of Life program. So it was supposed to be in all classes, and I forgot to remove. But yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
I am definitely. Oh wait, is that tonight? That's tonight.
Yeah, that's in about an hour and 53 minutes. No, 43 minutes.
Blah. Okay.
It's all good. You're whole, perfect, and complete.
I need to rearrange a few things because inner conflict resolution is kind of important for me.
Yeah, and we have a pretty cool protocol. You're gonna like that protocol. It's pretty easy and it's kind of hands-on, meaning we actually use our hands for it. All right, cool. So let's start the song and let's get our body moving as we get out of this class. This song is going to play for about 3 or 4 minutes. Feel free to leave the class at any time. Make sure you move your body, and this is an excuse to move your body, is this song right here.
Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome.